idiot at the time. According to him, he shielded him from being suspended for 6 months. Ali Ndume from Borno, right, got suspended. If you remember, he was also suspended for about 6 months as well, simply because he questioned the padding of the budget by the lawmakers. He was supposed to just play along, not talk about it. Abdul Ningi, another person, was also exposed the corruption of the budget padding. Was also suspended for about 3 months. I don't know if you remember that. That's the recent one. There's another guy called Abdul Mumini Jibrin from Kano. He is he's a House of Representative member. He was suspended for 6 months. Why? Because he exposed the budget padding in the National Assembly, called press conference. They fired him. So you can't act opposition in that place. So that's why I'm not surprised. The guy that is, the guy that is reading that nonsense is a Labour Party member, by the way, a Labour Party senator. Just for your information. Ireti Kingibe, that recommended that Natasha should be suspended because she's gone far out of her way. She's also a Labour Party member. Natasha herself, a PDP member, has in that same Senate house, right? She had, plus herself, they have 35 PDP senators. Not a single one of them raise a wimp. Not make the wimp as no. It was just like, and then the proposal for our suspension was made. In this this longer clip, which I'm going to play you next, that's where prayers for a 6-month suspension. Even the rubber stamp one actually wanted rubber stamp one wanted salary stopped, a security detail removed, workers and their salaries stopped as well. In this show of shame, let me show you.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023.
Hang on, don't forget that a moment ago, AKPABIOLE was referring Natasha's petition to the Senate Committee on Ethics that they should report back. But no, they are not going into any. It's already said that it is dead on arrival. You see, a few days ago when this altercation happened, there were already those within the chamber there asking that she should be suspended. Suspend her, Joe, suspend her. But here is the process.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha.
I think this is one we should go for. The rest of what Damufu was reading.
2. That under Order 40, subsection 7 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, which states that Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law, the petition of Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan being a matter before a law court of competent jurisdiction, the committee therefore cannot deliberate on the petition. 3. The committee noted that distinguished Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan went to court to seek an interim order preventing the Senate and its committee from exercising its constitutional duties as enshrined in Section 88, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. The committee felt duty-bound to exercise its constitutional functions. It is noted that legislative investigation is part of lawmaking. It is adjunct of the legislative process. Accordingly, any investigation carried in the exercise of those powers are constitutional and competent. 4. It is interesting to note that while on one hand, Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan sought in breach to restrain the Senate from doing its constitutional duties under Section 88, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, she also brought a petition to the Senate arguing that her petition on sexual harassment has merit, which must be accepted and acted upon by the Senate. Accordingly, the petition was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petition for action. The distinguished senator cannot, on one hand, seek to prevent the Senate from doing its duties on a petition based on a motion brought against her, and on the other hand, insist that her petition on sexual harassment to the Senate be acted upon through the Ethics Committee. He who comes to equity, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, must come with clean hands. It is important to note that the motion of Senator Adaramodu seeking investigation on the conduct of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions when there was no case pending in court on the issue of seat allocation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition, having due deliberation of the matter as revealed by Senator Adeyemi Raphael Adaramodu, Senator Titus Tatenja Zam, Chamber staff, and the Sergeant at Arms, the committee recommends as follows. 1, that the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for 6 months for her total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Senate in general to public opprobrium. 2, that for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or to reduce the tenure of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before the reconsideration by the Senate. 3, that the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan with effect from 6 March 2025 from all legislative activities forthwith. 4, that her office be locked up for the duration of her suspension and hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. 5, that for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. 6, that her salaries and allowances, including those of her legislative aides, be suspended and withdraw of all security details for the duration of her suspension. And 7, that for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public, locally and internationally, as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah. So those are the prayers. Don't pay her salary, suspend her for 6 months, lock her office. Our workers should not be paid, our staff should not be paid for that 6 months, and also bar her from presenting herself as a senator of the Fulani Republic of Nigeria. Read that way. Sounded like an overkill, right? That is exact intention. Now, watch this. This is when the suspension, right, was handed down by AKPABIOLE.
The Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. I'd put the question. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. How do you amend a prayer that is unanimous? Prayer 2, that Akpoti-Uduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration of this case by the Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. Prayer 3.
Liberalism.
Prayer 3. that the Senate do suspend Senator Akpoti Oduagan with effect from 6th day of March 2025 from all legislative activities forthwith. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, that her office be locked up for the duration of this suspension, and she should hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5, that for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. But this is normal. Those in support of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. Again, the ayes have it. Prayer 6, that our salaries and allowances, including those of our legislative aides, be suspended and withdrawal of all security details for the duration of our suspension. Yes, Senator Ojo Sakalo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a little amendment. Her aides have families. Most of them have come from villages, from towns to live in Abuja. It will be wrong to punish aides that have not committed any offense. Their aides will receive their allowances. No, but Dandu said, you have to agree with this. The aides of Natasha is not Natasha. It will be wrong for this Senate to deprive those aides not collecting their allowances. They are workers. They don't have any other farm to go to, Mr. President. Because these aides are workers of Senator Natasha. So I'm moving for amendment of that section that the aides will receive their allowances. Mr. President, I plead with you that these people might be having family in Abuja. They don't go to any farm. They don't have any other way of feeding. And I think that this Senate, my colleagues, you must allow the workers of Natasha to have their allowances. I so move, Mr. President.
Any seconder? Yes, any seconder? The two Senator Nedwoko, you have not spoken. Any seconder? Yes, any seconder? The two Senator Nedwoko, you have not spoken. Nedwoko has not spoken. Senator Nedwoko.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
President,
yes,
and my
Senator
distinguished
Ali.
colleagues. My name is Senator Ned Nwoko. I represent the good people of Delta North, Delta State. Mr. President, I do stand to second the amendment as proposed by Senator Oji Ozokalo. It's only fair that we allow the workers, even if they don't come to within the premises of the National Assembly, to receive their allowances. I so support. Thank you.
Well, distinguished colleagues, the prayer 6 says that our salaries and allowances, including those of our legislative aides, be suspended. And the distinguished Senator Oju Sakalo has proposed that the salaries and allowances of the aides be spared. Even if they don't, and like he said, he further amended it to say, even if they are not allowed to come within the vicinity of the National Assembly, because they are here only at our instance, but that their salaries should be spared. Those who are in support of the amendment, that the salaries of the aides be spared, say aye. And those who feel that their salaries should also be withheld by the clerk of National Assembly, say nay. The ayes have it. What, just That's a matter? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Ahmed Lawan, I represent Yobe North. Mr. President, the latter part of number 6 talks of withdrawal of all security details for the duration of her suspension. Mr. President, I want to believe that we still feel we are one, and any injury to any of us should be injury to all. I believe withdrawal of security aids at this moment from a senator is not the best way to go. And we should not really create a precedence where the moment something happens with a member of the National Assembly, the security agencies will say withdraw the security aids, because this could be a problem to us later. So I just want us to reflect on this. Thank you.
Well, if your security is given to you as a leverage to your being a senator, then there will be no need for them to hang around with you when you are no longer a senator. In other words, if you are no longer a president of the Senate, you cannot continue to sit in the car of the president of the Senate. I was with you in the villa the day you declared support for me, and I saw you off as a sign of respect as the outgoing Senate president. When we got to the vehicle, you just pointed out and said, "This will be withdrawn from me tomorrow. I will come to your house after you win." so if you are telling me that, assuming I had failed that day, would that vehicle come to my house?
Well, Mr. Senate President, I don't want it to be like I'm trying to make a case, but I believe that this is a suspended senator, not someone who ceases to be a senator. It's suspension.
But without arguing with you,
that's my case. Yes.
Without arguing with you, let me remind you, you are a landlord in the Senate or in the National Assembly. Do you remember a senator that was called Oton Zeribe? A distinguished senator who was one of the richest people in southeastern Nigeria. And when he entered into the Senate, he carried along on his shoulders his wealth. May his soul rest in peace. When he was suspended, the Senate took steps to withdraw all his security. And when he refused to apologize to the Senate, he stayed out of the Senate for over 2.5 years until the end of that tenure. We are starting a journey now. And the journey depends on your attitude. Prayer 7, that for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public locally and internationally as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 7 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank my colleague.
Yesterday, when Natasha was on his case, AKPABIOLE could be seen, right? Jittery, probably scared, like a fish out of water. Go and watch the video if you probably have forgotten. It was not himself. Now he's joking again. He's actually joking, talking about author Zeribe and talking about borrowing Robert Stamp Lawan, his own Senate Presidiot car for a day, out of respect. He's joking now. The plan is that Natasha will not come back. Just for the record, that's the plan. She must not come back. So the extension of her suspension is also part of this whole plot, you know. But where is the opposition? Where are the opposition members? Where are they? Not a single one of them actually really rose up to say, "Oh, you know what? Nah." It was like, we are one. We are one. Injury to one is injury to all. That is the deal. Oh, two guys actually rose up from Kogi. Yeah.